Hello and welcome back to our Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky 1 playthrough. We left off rather suddenly in the last episode, in the middle of the third task that Estelle and Joshua's father left for us to do, which turned out to be escorting a reporter and his photographer to the Esmalas ruins. We also realised, rather belatedly in the last episode, that we could have actually been doing bracer requests all the way through. So, basically at this point, Estelle is wandering around and sorting herself out, getting the lay of the land and so forth, chatting with people. Let's start with the professor up here. Professor Alba says, "Oh, hi there, Estelle, was it? Is your partner feeling alright?" Estelle nods. "Yeah, he said he just wants to get a bit of fresh air." Professor Alba says, "I see. There's certainly a nice breeze up here, isn't there? I wanted to say, however, that I'm impressed that both of you are bracers at such a young age. If I remember correctly, one must be at least 16 years of age to qualify to become a bracer, right?" Estelle grins. "You sure know your stuff." "And that's right, I'm exactly 16 myself." Professor Alba says, "How nice it is to be young. There are limitless possibilities at that age. If I were about 10 years younger, I'd solve the mysteries of all these ancient ruins across the entire continent with these very hands." Estelle says, "The entire continent, huh? That's a pretty tall order. Which means that you're not from the Burl, right?" Professor Alba says, "No, I was born in the north. But just for the record, I'm not from Erebonia." Estelle laughs. "Haha, you don't have to worry about that. Although I hate war with a passion, that hatred isn't directed at the people of the Empire." Professor Alba asks, "You lost someone dear to you?" Estelle nods. "Yeah, my mother." Professor Alba says, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up any painful memories." Estelle says, "It's okay, it happened more than 10 years ago, and since then, there's been a new addition to the family." Professor Alba asks, "Oh, so you mean that boy over there?" Estelle nods. "Yeah, he's like a little brother, although he's probably trying to act more like an older brother." Professor Alba laughs. "Haha." Estelle blushes. "I wonder why I'm telling you all of this. Usually this isn't the kind of thing a person tells others." Professor Alba says, "It's perfectly fine. Aren't good relations such a wonderful thing?" Niall says, "Oh man, the taste of a cigarette is wonderful. At first I wasn't in the mood to come do a story in a rural place like Relent, but sometimes these types of places aren't so bad." Estelle pouts. "If you want to be rude like that, then maybe you shouldn't have come at all." Niall says, "No can do. This was a direct order from the editor-in-chief to teach that blockhead girl a thing or two. Otherwise I'd be all over the kingdom searching for the latest scoop right now." Estelle asks, "When you say scoop, don't you just mean gossip for your next article?" Niall says, "Not that I have anything against gossip, but reportage is predominantly greater. And in that sense, the place that has my interest piqued is Bose. The Bose region. Did something happen there?" says Estelle. Niall says a number of large burglaries have taken place, one after another. The identity of the criminals is unknown, but it seems as though the group has got a pair of wings. Estelle asks, wings? Oh, I see, an airship, right? What are they, sky bandits or something? Niall nods. That seems to be the most logical conclusion. But there's also the possibility that this could be an imitative deception by the Erebonian Empire. Estelle asks, what? That's impossible. We're supposed to have a peace treaty with them. Niall says, sure, but the Empire incurred some heavy losses during the war 10 years ago. They can't do much now that every other nation on the continent has their eye on them, but it could be a way to get back at us. That said, nobody really knows for sure, which is why our job as reporters is to bring these things to light. Dorothy says, oh Estelle, this place is wonderful, isn't it? I'm even starting to wonder if the number of photo quartz is going to be enough. Estelle smiles. The scenery sure is great, like you say. By the way, what's a photo quartz? Dorothy replies, it's an ultra-thin crystal circuit fabricated from Septium. It's set up so that you can take a photograph by burning it with light. Estelle gasps. That's just what I'd expect from a camera woman, someone who knows the tools of the trade. Dorothy laughs. Tee-hee. That reminds me, what's the deal with Joshua? Estelle says, well, he says he's getting some fresh air. Dorothy says, a raven-haired young man standing silently in the flowing breeze. I think I could take a really good picture with that kind of a setting. Do you think he'd let me snap a shot of him if I asked? Estelle says he doesn't seem to be a fan of that kind of stuff. I think he'd probably turn you down. Dorothy sighs. Oh, what a waste. He's probably just shy, right? Estelle asks, are you still feeling sick, Joshua? Joshua replies, no, I'm much better. I should be good to head back whenever everybody's ready. Estelle says, I'm relieved to hear that. What brought this all on, anyway? I doubt it was a lack of oxygen in the tower because the rest of us are all right. Maybe it was a sudden fear of heights? Joshua laughs. I don't think so. Dorothy calls out, Estelle, Joshua. Estelle asks, are you finished taking pictures? Dorothy nods. You bet I am, and I've got a lot of good ones too. Niall says, then it looks like we're done here. How about if we head back to town? All right, greenhorns, lead the way. Professor Alba says, I'm counting on you, children. Wow. Professor Alba says, thank you so much for escorting me back here. This is the first time I've ever been able to make it back from some ruins without being chased, or bitten, or... I don't know how to begin to express my gratitude and appreciation. Joshua says, you don't need to thank us. It's our duty as bracers. Estelle says, I think you'd be better off hiring some bracers to begin with next time you go off to investigate some ruins. Professor Alba says, my head says yes, but my wallet says no. I'll try and save up a bit though. Well, have a wonderful day, and I hope we can all meet again. Niall says, I think it's about time we said goodbye as well. I was a bit nervous at first, but you kids did a fine job. Let me just say thank you to the both of you. Estelle says that's what I like to call raw skill. Niall says, now don't get all cocky on me. The braces I know would make you two look like little fledglings not ready to leave the nest. You're going to need to work harder. Estelle sighs. I'll try to remember that. Joshua asks, so are the two of you headed back to the company soon? Niall shakes his head. No, we're going to spend a day or so relaxing here in Relent. I need to write up a rough draft for some articles and such. Dorothy says, I'll head over to the Orbital factory and get these photographs developed. Take it easy, you two. Estelle says, I guess this is the last of the jobs we got from Dad. They were much tougher than I thought they'd be. Joshua nods. I agree with you there. I feel like I have a greater awareness now about what it means to be a bracer. It's not just about fighting for justice. Estelle grins. There you go again, saying all the right things. But yeah, I guess I get where you're coming from. Joshua says, it seems like we've got a long road ahead of us if we want to succeed in this profession. For the time being, why don't we report to the guild? Estelle nods. That sounds like a good idea. Oh, but before we go, how are you doing? Still not feeling well? Joshua says, thanks for asking, but I'm feeling a lot better. Trip into the sewers to get better. Oh dear.
We're good to go.
The misses are somewhat annoying. Right, to the Bracers Guild we go. Scheherazade says, oh, Estelle and Joshua. Estelle asks, Shera, what are you doing here? Joshua adds, this is a rare occasion. You're usually out and about. Scheherazade says, I just finished the jobs I took over for your father, and I was reporting to the guild. Estelle asks, so you finished your load too, huh? Scheherazade nods. Somehow or other, I guess. I heard from Aina that you guys aren't doing too badly yourselves. I guess everything I went through to train the two of you amounted to something. Estelle laughs. We're grateful too. Well, I guess we'll report in as well then. Aina says, go ahead, let's hear what you've got. We've reported about escorting the reporters. And we received payment for the Libelle media. We got 2,000 monies and 4 BP. And we're still Junior Bracer 8th class. Aina says, good work you two. How about you, Scheherazade? Don't you think they've done a fine job? Scheherazade says, for a bunch of newbies you did an average job. But you shouldn't be satisfied with that level of work. Especially you, Estelle. You're always the first to get on that high horse of yours. Estelle grins. Okay, I get it already. Aina says, great work, all of you. I'm surprised that we were able to fill the work gap left by Cassius so quickly. I wonder if we'll be able to relax for a bit now. Estelle says, I don't know. I can imagine that the downtime might be a bit of a drag. Joshua says, well, that won't be a problem since there are plenty of other small jobs like patrolling the roads and exterminating monsters. Scheherazade laughs. Haha, it's been a while since I've been able to take a break. Alright, it's time for my reward. I'm going to drink until I can't drink any more tonight. Estelle, Joshua, you two join me as well. Estelle stammers, we have to watch you get plastered and make a fool of yourself? Scheherazade asks, oh, so what you're saying is that you're turning down my invitation? You've got a lot of nerve to do something like that to your mentor. Estelle asks, what am I supposed to say? Your drinking habits are intolerable. You cause a ruckus, dance like a maniac, and try to strip in public. Joshua nods. Agreed, it's pretty embarrassing. Aina asks, Scheherazade, just where do you think you're going to take these underage kids? Scheherazade says, come on, the alcohol is what makes things entertaining. But if you're so against coming along with me, then I don't need you, Estelle. Estelle says, really? Scheherazade nods. Yep. Instead, I'll just have Joshua make up for your absence. Joshua asks, why me? Shera? Estelle says, now hold on a minute. Scheherazade laughs. Oh, Joshua, you'll look like you'll make a fine companion. Whether we're talking booze or something else behind closed doors, I'll help break you in. Joshua asks, break me in? Estelle frowns. All right, you big pervert, Joshua. Why are you drooling like that? Joshua stammers, it's not what you think. Old man's voice. We've got a major problem. Estelle says, huh? Mayor Klaus? Mayor Klaus looks like he's about to have a heart attack, wheezing and coughing. Estelle, Joshua, and Scheherazade, am I glad to see you? Joshua whispers to himself, saved by the bell. Then goes on with, what's wrong, sir, and why are you in such a hurry? Mayor Klaus says, this is terrible. My home, disaster, it's gone. Estelle asks, what? Scheherazade says, all right, calm down, Mayor Klaus. Take a deep breath and let it out. Mayor Klaus lets out a deep breath. And another one. And another one. Apparently it seems as though my home was robbed while I was out. Estelle asks, what? Scheherazade says, that's not being calm at all, Estelle. Mayor Klaus says, I had something to speak with Father Divine about, so I was over at the chapel, and when I came home, it was rather odd for no one to greet me at the door, so I looked around, and the rooms were in a state of great disarray. Estelle asks, wait, what about your wife and Lita? Mayor Klaus says, don't worry, they're both fine. I found them locked up in the attic room. Estelle sighs, that's a relief to hear. Scheherazade says, it's lucky that no harm came to anyone. It won't get us anywhere just sitting around here, so could you take us to the crime scene, Mayor Klaus? Mayor Klaus nods. Absolutely, I appreciate your cooperation. Estelle says, wait for me, I'm going too. Joshua nods. Good idea. We may be able to be of some help. Scheherazade says, well, if you insist. Aina will be at the mayor's place investigating the incident. If you have anything come up, just toss it on Ridge's shoulders. I'm sure he's just relaxing at the bar anyway. Aina says, yes, I'll do that, and everyone be careful. Estelle says, wow, this place is an absolute mess. Scheherazade agrees. The crooks really tore through here. Estelle says, look at the safe. Mayor Klaus says, the Septium, which was supposed to be given to Her Majesty the Queen, has been stolen. I'm really sorry, especially after having you go through all the trouble of bringing it here. Joshua says, it's not you should be apologizing. It's the crooks who are in the wrong. By the way, how are the other rooms in the house? Mayor Klaus says, the other rooms for the most part appear to have been left untouched. They're about as messy as the attic room, in which my wife and Lita were locked up in. Scheherazade muses, Estelle, Joshua, there's something I want you to do. Estelle asks, which is? Scheherazade says, I'll speak with the mayor about the incident. I want you two to check out the inside of the house. Estelle asks, you mean like an on-site investigation? Joshua asks, are you sure we're up to the task? Scheherazade says, since we're all here, splitting up would be the best way to cover the most ground, no? Estelle nods. All right, we'll see what we can do. Scheherazade says, proceed carefully and deliberately. All right, Mayor Klaus, how about we talk at the parlour? Mayor Klaus says, sure, now where to begin? Estelle says, an on-site investigation, huh? I'm starting to get butterflies in my stomach. Joshua asks, how about we start from this room? And let's not forget to ask for witness statements from the other residents. Estelle nods. Sounds like a plan. Estelle says the gift that we delivered to the mayor for the Queen is... Those crooks are not going to get away with this. Joshua says it doesn't look like they jimmied the door either. They must have decrypted the combination and opened it, or... Estelle asks, could they really have cracked the combination? Joshua says it's not impossible, but I imagine that it'd be different for anyone besides a skilled pro. My best guess is that they figured out the combination using a much simpler means. Estelle asks, what do you mean by simpler means? Joshua replies, well, let's see. They could have, for example, dusted the buttons with a special powder. A powder like that would have absorptive properties, and due to its fineness, it would be invisible to the naked eye. However, if a blue light were placed over it, it would glow. Estelle nods, all right, and... Joshua continues, now let's imagine for a minute that the mayor entered the combination with the powder present. The powder on the buttons would stick to his fingers and come off. This would be one way to know which buttons were pressed. Estelle says, now wait a minute, wouldn't they still not know the order in which the buttons were pressed? Joshua replies, that's not exactly the case. As the powder collected on the fingers increased, the amount taken from the buttons would decrease. In other words, the crooks could press the buttons in order, starting from the least luminescent. It might be a little more difficult if there were duplicate numbers, clues, but the crooks should be able to make a pretty good guess as to what they are. Estelle says, that makes sense. Joshua, are you a genius or something? Joshua says, that's just basic knowledge. Anyway, let's check out the buttons. Joshua says, just as I thought, powder was used. Now there's no doubt in my mind that the safe was opened using the same method I just explained. Estelle says, oh right. Now the big question is, who dusted the buttons with that powder? We know it would have to at least be someone who visited the residence. Joshua nods, right. Now figuring out who that is, that's going to be the tricky part. Estelle says this place is all torn apart. Lita would probably faint if she saw this. Joshua says it looks like all the books on the shelf have been scattered about the room. It seems kind of senseless to have done all this. Estelle says there are several documents inside the drawer. They don't appear to have been disturbed. Joshua says they seem to be documents regarding Rolent City's government. The fact that these are as they are suggests that there was no political aim involved. Estelle says it's just like the Met have a ton of difficult books like this. Joshua adds, it looks like he's got some valuable antique books here as well. The criminals either had no idea about the value of the books, or... Estelle says, this is just a clutter box, right? It's empty as well. Joshua says, the box lock looks like it was burned off. The criminals may have used an orbital gun. Let's look in the attic room, shall we? That one leaf on the floor. Estelle asks, huh? What's this? We found a surveyor's leaf. Estelle asks, don't you think it's a bit strange for a leaf to be in a place like this? On top of that, it's not of a type that grows around here. Joshua remarks, You're sharp, Estelle. This is the place where the residents were locked up. It was probably dropped by one of the criminals as they were locking everybody up. Estelle asks, so it's a key piece of material evidence, right? Estelle asks, are you alright, ma'am? Mylene replies, yes, I'm fine. The intruders weren't violent towards us. Joshua asks, is there anything you noticed in particular about the intruders? Mylene replies, they were wearing masks, so I wouldn't be able to tell you about any specific features. That reminds me, I'm certain the front door was locked. I locked the door just to be safe since my husband had gone to the chapel and there were just the two of us here. I wonder how in the world they got in. Maybe they disguised themselves as Telstra workers and got in that way. Lita says, I had such a scare. I was cleaning up the attic when suddenly a bunch of masked men came barging in. Estelle says, masked men, huh? That means this wasn't a one-man job. Joshua asks, how many people were in the group? Lita says, I'd probably guess about 3 or 4. Oh, that reminds me, one of them was short. It might have even been a girl. I wonder how they did get in. Estelle says, they said the door was locked at the time of the burglary, right? It doesn't look like the lock's been broken either. Joshua says, which means they got in another way. Which means I missed something. Estelle says, look, there are some marks on this railing. Joshua agrees, you're right, and they're fresh too. It looks like something metal dug into the wood. So that means they climbed up using grapnel and probably went out the same way. Scheherazade says, I had the mayor run me through all the details. How about you two? Did you find anything? Yes, we found lots of new evidence. Scheherazade says, alright then, let's check the details one by one and see what you've come up with. First off, what were the criminals after? They were after the Septium in the safe. How many of them were there? Asked Scheherazade. There was a group of 3 or 4. Where did they get into the house from? From the terrace on the 2nd floor. Point blank, what is the portrait of those who thought to have... Point blank, what is the portrait of those thought to have committed the crime? Scheherazade says, well, I guess you did a decent enough job. It looks like we'll be able to specify who the criminals are with this information. Mayor Klaus, over the past 2 or 3 days, have you had any new faces in your study? Mayor Klaus says, when you put it that way, I guess there's been a number of people. That reporter of the magazine company was one. Estelle asks, oh, so those 2 came to visit you too, huh? Joshua said, but at the time of the crime, they were with us at the Esmeralda's tower. I think we can cross them off the list of suspects. Scheherazade says, I see. So Mayor Klaus, were there any others? Mayor Klaus says, other than that, there was only Josette. But let's not kid ourselves here. Estelle says, I think it'd be a bit of a stretch for her to be our thief. After all, she's a student at the Royal Academy. Scheherazade says criminals aren't always dressed so they can be easily spotted. As for a school uniform, if someone put their mind to it, they could create a replica. Estelle says, but I'm telling you, she was a really nice girl. She was modest and courteous. Right, Joshua? Joshua says, I'm sorry to say this, but I completely disagree. Estelle says, huh? Joshua says, during that time, when the mayor put the Septium into the safe, that girl's eyes lit up like a hunter's eyeing her prey. Of course, since I had no conclusive evidence, I couldn't call her out on it. But at least to me, she didn't look like any ordinary student. Estelle says, you must be joking. Mayor Klaus says, unbelievable. Scheherazade says, at any rate, it looks like we're going to have to ask this girl a few questions. You wouldn't happen to know where she is, would you? Estelle says, if I remember right, she should be staying at the hotel. But she said something about taking off from Relent sometime today. Scheherazade says, well, it looks like we're going to have to hurry then. Estelle, Joshua, let's try the hotel first. Estelle says, right. Joshua nods, understood. Oh, hello. Scheherazade is part of our party. Does her orbit look like? Oh, hello. Okay. I see. To the hotel, which would be here. Vern says, Estelle, Joshua, and even Scheherazade. Is something the matter? Estelle asks, do you remember a girl named Josette? She's a student from the Royal Academy who should be staying here. Vern says, of course I remember her, but she checked out just a moment ago. Scheherazade says, shoot, we're a minute too late. Joshua says, let's hurry to the landing port. We might be able to catch her there. Estelle says she really didn't seem like a bad girl. And Vern has no idea what they're talking about. Alan says, please excuse the delay. The airliner should be arriving any time now, so please be patient. Estelle says, yo, Alan, it's us if you haven't noticed. Alan says, oh, it's you guys. Oh, and Scheherazade too. And then he thinks to himself, thank you, Aidos, for this feast for the eyes. So, what's up? Joshua asks, you didn't by chance happen to see a girl in a school uniform around here, did you? Alan asks, a girl in a school uniform? A school uniform from where? Estelle replies, from the Yenis Royal Academy. Alan says, oh baby, those uniforms are so hot. The contrast of those neatly pleated white skirts and navy blue socks. Oh, yes, I can see them now. I totally forget what the boys' uniforms look like, though. Estelle sighs. This is one obsession I just don't get. Scheherazade grins. Thus defineth man's eternal struggle. Back on topic here. So you didn't see a girl in the Royal Academy uniform? Alan replies, nope, not this month, and believe me, I watch for those. I check all the passengers boarding and disembarking, so I can tell you at least that she hasn't come here. Scheherazade says, which means that she came to relent along the roads without using an airliner. This complicates things. Joshua nods. Our search field suddenly got much bigger. Come to think of it, there must be others, so they've got to be hiding somewhere. Estelle says, wait, that reminds me. Scheherazade asks, what does, Estelle? Let's use the survey sleeve. Estelle pulled out the survey sleeve found in the attic. I almost forgot that we found this. Could this be some sort of a clue? Joshua says, oh right, we did find that. Shahara, do you know of any places nearby where surveyors' trees grow? Scheherazade says, surveyors' trees, huh? I'm pretty certain they grow in Mistwald, south of Relent. Joshua says, Mistwald. That's the forest in the opposite direction from home as Relent, right? Estelle says, it seems like it's worth looking into. That settles it. Let's head up the highway through Relent's south gate. Alan asks, you're really excited, aren't you? Well, whatever it is, good luck. So we're heading south. Girl's voice. Wait up. You're running like a crazed lunatic. Man's voice. Who can just walk at a time like this? Niall is going into convulsions and heart palpitations. He says, maybe I should think about cutting back on these blasted cigarettes. Estelle asks, what are the two of you up to? Niall asks, you kids again, huh? Actually, we've got to get to Bose ASAP. Joshua says, but the airliner's not even here yet. Niall says, I know, that's why we're heading there on foot. It'll take some time, but it's not a distance that we can't cover by ourselves. Estelle says, well, don't wear yourselves out too badly. By the way, are you after a scoop or something? Niall says, yeah, and the mother of all scoops too. No time to talk, we've got to make it there today. Dorothy says, I wonder if Niall's going to be alright. See you later, Estelle. Joshua. Scheherazade says, well, aren't they a lively pair? Friends of yours? Estelle says, those were the reporters from one of the jobs Dad asked us to take over. I wonder what's going on. Quickly see if anyone can get a slot. Estelle could. Joshua could not. Scheherazade really could not. Okay, so we'll open slot 2 for Estelle. And are there any quartz we can get? EP cut 1. EP1, I think. Then we'll trade out everything above 100. Take the monies. Go into the Mistward for that. Still no idea where the Elise Highway is. I guess we'll find out in due course. Actually, hang on. That icon. Can we learn? We learned the recipe for potluck in a shell. Lucky us. Okay, so that's a thing that happens. Like a quartz in for Estelle. So I'd go up to 68, 168, or reduce everything to 9. Oh, mathematics on the fly. I'll use EP cut 1 for now. Right, okay. Oh, monster carapace for potluck in a shell. Fresh milk, maple sugar. Yes, we should actually also buy a few reviving balms. Insulating tape and some purging balm. Right. Mr. Elgar got anything new? He does not. So, to the south we go. Everyone's going to miss, aren't they? Of course they are. Why would they want to not miss? Oh, Sherazade is a fair way ahead. Why, hello there. Aren't you an intimidating monster on this big bridge? Chicken. Oh, this is Rhino Cider. Hello. A monster usually living in forests. Its thick armoured hide gives it great defence. Alright, then we should probably... because there's no elemental issue. Nice. And we got a lucky fang. We exterminated the monster on his highway. Good for us. Oh, hello. Mars Sparrow. A ferocious flying monster can summon meteorites, so watch out. I see. poultry. Well, that's a new ingredient. We didn't actually cook anything, did we? And we can do multiple at a time. Nice. His strength wasn't that much up. We don't need a meteorite coming down on our heads.
We're good to go.
Let's see. Chills. Oh, okay. Reach, that's fine. Not fine, but it'll do. Nice. Right. Silver on you. Firebolt on you. Stone hammer on you. I see. That was a we were promised a meteorite, and we got a meteorite.
Oh, are we done already?
More tender poultry. East. Mistwald. Beware of monsters. That's south. That's south, not east. Right. hit this time. We need to tear Joshua.
Seems you came up short.
Estelle and Joshua both leveled up. And we got a fresh herb and 2 tender poultry. Go us. I see. We do miss rather a lot, don't we?
All right, we're good to go.
Was Estelle's face.
Oh, are you done already?
Estelle asks, so this is Mistwald, huh? Joshua asks, can you tell us anything, Shara? Scheherazade says, someone came through here, all right. From what I can see, a number of people passed through here not long ago. I'd wager Mira we're on the right track. Estelle asks, how can you be so sure? Scheherazade says, because tracking fugitives is an essential skill for bracers. Anyway, let's check the woods. Be sure to keep your voices low. Estelle nods. Roger that. Joshua agrees. Understood. Was that a wasp? It might be a wasp. It's 2 wasps, in fact. Sorry, killer hornet. A woodland insect attacks with a poison stinger. Very agile, can dodge attacks, but it is weak to fire. which is rather fortunate, as we have 2 party members who can cast fire. I'll just move up there to be out of the way.
Oh, are we done already?
You got a savoury pinion. Alright. Floaty clouds. Forest mist, sorry. Mist-like monsters that lurk in the forest blows gases on its enemies, difficult to hit. Not strong or weak to anything, so we will have to... No, we won't. We will.
Someone's been naughty.
So, yeah, she can use that whip.
That's that then. Let's move out.
We got a gummy eyeball. Wasps. Hornets, sorry. Would laugh if the hornet dodged it, but it would be a very sad laugh.
Oh, are we done already?
Too good of a job at dodging that. That one did though. Twice. Fortunately, Estelle resisted that.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Another gummy eyeball. Him. You're going to fry him. Poison. 2 poisons. Purging balm, wasn't it?
Take!
Seems you came up short.
That is a not insignificant amount of HP loss. We found a tear bar. Back for more, eh? Some people are never satisfied. I wonder who went through and added all these things to the chests to say after you, loot them.
We're good to go.
A dirty carrot. We found a bear claw. That must be the other bracer mission that we had to do. Okay, so there's hornets on either side.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Here they come. Right, definitely should carry multiple status resist items, equipment.
Let's move out!
Well, at least we're getting green Sepith now. Oh, alright. On you. Pity it didn't blow up on the other two, but it'll do.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Nice. More gummy eyeballs. I wonder if they're like gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Need you to go. We're going to move you to a slightly more safe position. After all, I mean, you don't want to. Blow up your friends and neighbours, unless you do, of course.
Seems you came up short.
Nice. Fire on you, and tear on you.
Oh, are we done already?
And Estelle and Joshua level up again. We've got 2 curative horns. Oh, okay. This isn't going to end well, is it? I'm just going to move Estelle back. They don't damage themselves. Seems a little unfair. dirty carrots. Lucky Fang and Curative Horn. Found some more bear claw. Yeah, we've just sort of got to blow you up because we don't want to be blown up ourselves. Charizard can't do anything but attack at the moment. Yay!
Seems you came up short.
Don't really see anything interactable. Oh well. Got to find a different route. Well, at least while they're attacking Estelle, she can't really be hurt by them. That being said, of course, we can't really hurt them either. And yes, I am holding limit breaks for the next full fight. Just because they're half HP. And we've got to hit at some point. Like that. Indeed, sort of. This side is a dead end. These two are connected. Oh. Josette says, haha, that was too easy. And to think that something as exquisite as this fell into my hands with almost no effort. Wait until Don and Kyle hear about this. Lonnie says, you surprised me, that's for sure. The way you pulled off that act wearing that school uniform was simply astounding. Dino says, just what you'd expect from the mademoiselle of an ex-aristocratic family. Josette says, yeah, but what's in the past is in the past. But it certainly doesn't hurt that in this outfit I can deceive almost anyone. That gullible mayor and dim-witted bracer girl. Idiots, the whole lot of them. Estelle whispers, "What was that?" Joshua whispers back, "Calm down, let's see what else they have to say." "Fine, but I'm not happy about this," says Estelle. Lyle said, "Yeah, but that girl seemed pretty tough. I mean, she took care of all the monsters that appeared in the mine." Josette says, "The mine? Oh, so you're the one who screwed up their job. If you had just..." Apologies for that. Josette says, "If you had just done it like you were supposed to, I wouldn't have had to put a monkey show on to get this thing." Lyle says, "My apologies." Josette says, "Forget about it. All's well that ends well." At any rate, those two kids being braces was an absolute joke. Especially that brainless bimbo. She honestly believed that we could be friends. What a freaking moron. I had to try so hard just to keep from laughing. Lyle says, "Wah ha ha ha, how stupid can she be?" Dino says, "Ha ha, that's just so absurd." And Lonnie says, "Now that is rich." Estelle asks, "What's so funny?" Josette gasps, "It's you guys." Estelle nods, "Yep, it's the brainless bimbo and her absolute joke of a bracer partner. And this probably won't come as a surprise, but we're going to beat you up now." Lyle asks, "What, braces?" Lonnie asks, "How did they find..." Scheherazade says, "You did a fine job stealing that septium from the mayor's residence, but it looks like you were a little careless in the end." Joshua says, "In accordance with the laws of the Bracer Guild, you are hereby under arrest and charged with breaking and entering, vandalism, and burglary. It would be in your best interest not to resist, but I'm sure Estelle is hoping that you will." Dino says, "This doesn't look good." Lyle asks, "What are we going to do now, Josette?" Josette snaps, "How about you quit quaking in your boots for starters? These braces are nothing more than a ragtag group of kids. I think it's time we showed them the real strength of the Capua family." Estelle shouts, "Who are you to be calling us kids, you brat? I've had it up to here, and I'm going to do something about it right now." Josette says, "Hey, that's my line." Ooh. "Alright, boys, go get him." And they all agree. Ow! That was not nice. Alright, we've got 3 bandits with poison waste blades.
Someone's been naughty.
Let's do this! Now, arguably, I should have
finished off at least one of these, which we have now done. Going to tear Joshua. Petrify breath. Ow! That's not nice. Really not nice. I don't think she really is a bimbo, but whatever. Okay. You're gone. So that means poison's gone, which means we can use purging balm on Joshua.
We're good to go!
So, Josette. Her true colours reveal her to be a bandit. Supports her companions with specialty arts. You're not weak to anything in particular. It's also going to take a while to bring you down by the locks. Even with arts.
Take that!
Well, I mean, you could have not done that, and I would have been happy as well.
That's it! Oh, are we done already?
I appear to have won. Nice. Josette asks, how in the world? Estelle harumphs, you had enough yet? That's what you get for taking braces lightly. And we'll be taking this back if you don't mind, thank you very much. We recovered the Septium crystal. Josette yells, hey, that Septium belongs to me. Estelle tuts, no, not to you, to the people of Roulette, that's who. The sheer nerve you have to say something like that is astounding. Scheherazade says, now that we've put the crystal back, how about we move on to confession time? That's an interesting name you mentioned. The Cupure family, was it? Josette mumbles to herself, me and my big mouth. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Scheherazade asks, so you want to be a tough egg to crack, do you? I don't mind at all. In fact, I like them that way. Josette screams, ah! What are you trying to do? That's a dangerous thing to be swinging around like that. Scheherazade says, well, if you can't answer with your mouth, then maybe your body can answer instead. But don't worry, I'll be extra gentle. Josette cries, eek! Get away from me, you crazy witch. Estelle whispers, I think Scheherazade is enjoying this. Joshua whispers back, let's just sit back and enjoy the show. Joshua yells, look out, Shera. Scheherazade says, a normal gun? Estelle asks, are you alright, Shera? Scheherazade says, I'm fine, forget about me, look at that. Estelle gasps, an airship? Josette laughs. Looks like the tables are turned in our favour now, aren't they? Kyle asks, are you okay, Josette? Josette says, Kyle, you're late. Where have you been? Oh, never mind, just hurry up and give us a hand. Kyle says, no can do. Our push into the Relent region has been put on hold. Something big came up in the Bose region while you were away. Josette asks, what's that supposed to mean? Kyle replies, I don't have time to explain. Hurry and hop on or I'll have to leave you behind. Josette stutters crap. Estelle shouts, just where do you think you're going? Josette replies, we'll pick this up another day, and don't think you've won either. Payback's going to be a beast. I'd probably hang on, dear, that looks like it'd go rather fast. Scheherazade says, I sure wasn't expecting anything like that to come out of the woodwork. It looks like they caught all of us off guard. Estelle sighs, this isn't a laughing matter. Right now I'm so frustrated I don't even know what to think. Joshua says, well, on the bright side, we did get the Septium crystal back. Switching gears, that group sure looked to me like a bunch of sky bandits. Scheherazade says yes, they certainly seem of that variety. It also sounds like they've made the Bose region their base of operations as well. I certainly wouldn't have expected a group like that to travel all the way to a rural place like Relent. Estelle says, I couldn't care less if they're sky bandits or brigands. The next time I see that scruffy lying jerk of a tomboy, I'm going to thwack bam kapow her. Joshua asks, what's thwack bam kapow supposed to mean? And thus the Septium crystal stolen from the mayor's residence was safely recovered. After returning it to the mayor, Estelle and the others returned to the guild to report the details of the incident. Aina says, it looks like you've had a rough day. Who'd have thought the sky bandits would appear? I don't blame you for letting them escape. Scheherazade says, "No, this time it was my fault. I should have been more careful. I'm really far from being in the same league as Cassius." Estelle says, "It's not your fault, Shara. I let my emotions get the best of me and..." Joshua chimes in, "I was careless as well." Scheherazade says, "No, you guys did a great job. I'd even give you a passing grade for your on-site investigation of the mayor's residence. Don't you think you should recommend them, Aina?" Aina says, "Yes, I was thinking the same thing as well." Estelle asks, "Recommend?" Joshua asks, "What do you mean?" Aina says, "Hold your horses. First comes the payment for a job well done. You've received payment for the mayoral theft. We got 3,000 monies and 6 BP. Our current rank is still Junior Bracer 8th class. This is for you both, and take this as well. We got a recommendation." Estelle says, "This is..." Aina says, "As of now, you are both junior bracers, in other words, bracers in training. In order to become senior bracers, you'll need to receive recommendations from all regional branches in the kingdom. This is your recommendation from the Roulette branch." Estelle asks, "Is it really okay for us to have this?" Joshua says, "I had heard that in order to become a full-fledged bracer, we'd need to achieve something fairly noteworthy." Aina says, "I think in light of the jobs performed in your father's stead and your great showing here, your achievements are sufficient. However, those achievements are only for your work here in Roulette." Scheherazade says, "You'll need to receive recommendations from the other regional branches after achieving success there as well. Beauzet, Rouen, Zeiss, and finally Gransel. You've still got a long road ahead of you." Estelle says, "Even so, I'm really happy. It was worth all the hard work. Now that we've come this far, don't you think we should visit the other regions too, Joshua?" Joshua smiles. "I figured you'd say as much. I agree with you, but we can't decide this all by ourselves. We should discuss it with Dad when he gets home." Estelle nods. "Right." "Oh," says Aina. Estelle says, "That's the telephone, right?" Aina says, "Hello, this is the Bracers Guild's Roulette branch in the Libelle Kingdom." "Ah, it's been a while since last we talked, hasn't it?" "I see. Are you sure? That's terrible." Estelle ponders, "I wonder if something happened." Joshua says, "It looks that way to me." Aina says, "Yes, that's right. He left on business the other day." "What?" "I apologize, but this is a little difficult to believe." "Understood. I'll pass on the news to his family. They'll be fine. They're bracers too." "Yes, and if you hear anything else, please let me know." Estelle asks, "What's wrong, Aina?" Scheherazade says, "It's unusual for you to be so surprised like that. Who was calling?" Aina says, "The Beauzet branch. Something terrible has happened. The airliner Linda has disappeared over the Beauzet region." Estelle says, "What?" Joshua asks, "How is that possible?" Aina says, "I don't know any of the details, but the Royal Army is currently conducting a wide-scale search. Due to this event, all other flights have been postponed." Scheherazade says, well, that explains the backup at the landing port. Aina says, and... Estelle asks, Aina? Aina says, Estelle, Joshua, please brace yourselves. Your father, Cassius, was on board the airliner which went missing. Estelle gasps, what? Joshua says, impossible. Scheherazade says, there's got to be some kind of mistake. Aina says, it seems his name was on the passengers list. Liberal Bracer Guild, Brilliant Branch, Senior Bracer, Cassius Bright, 45. And that is the end of the prologue, apparently. A father's love, a new beginning. We're going to save here. And call an end to the episode. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next episode.